Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be a reading. I'll talk for a little bit in the beginning, hopefully not too much, and I'll pull out cards. So today was a day that I could use some of my coupons or hot cash for Hot Topic or like a clothing store that I love, and I've been gradually getting clothes there because they're coming out with clothes that I grew up with. So I've been into the clothes that cycled in because I popped into Hot Topic. Well, I've always popped into Hot Topic here and there whenever I went to the mall. And this time around, I was happy because there's a lot of things that I'm just into. And I had like a couple of coupons and some hot cash. I used some of them. I look on their website too because sometimes I end up picking up stuff. And I guess maybe, well, there was a specific sale that I wasn't really paying attention to. And for some reason, I was just like, you know what, this will be a year that I wear jeans. I'll get jeans because I like a specific type of style of jeans. It is the the low rise or like the waist length or the waist type of jeans that are like the bootleg cut. And it's been years since I've worn them, jeans in general, probably since like late high school. And I did try a couple of things on because I had to like get to a certain amount because like I had two of the $15 off, but it would be like spending $30. So I was thinking since the regular price for the jeans were a little off of 50, then I would just get something else and then it would take off like with the coupons. And this time around they were having like 40% off on some things, and then there were other deals that were going on. And I like to start off like the jeans were already 40% off, so they were like $20. And then I was able to use one coupon, and then I had like a $5 reward. I technically had like a $10 off too, but I'm gonna save that one. And because some of the ones that I was trying to use, like they have a time span, and if I don't get to it, I don't get to it because it's not like it's the first time I've gotten them. So, this shirt was full price because I wanted that this was one of the shirts that I really wanted. Sorry, you could see, but it has like the cross type of design on it. And I'm happy that I tried it on because I will definitely wear the other tank top that I got the other day, but that is a size bigger than this size. I want to size down because well, the fit, I like the fit, and then um sometimes like depending on what the size is, like the straps or like the shoulder area, it tends to broaden, and I was looking for a specific fit of it. And then I saw a couple of Bring Me the Horizon shirts. There was one that I was like kind of looking at. And I tried it on, and I don't know, maybe it just wasn't the mood because I was like, it felt like I was, I don't know, like a race car driver just because it was just like a specific style. And at first, because that was like one of the main ones that I was looking at to like actually get, and then I tried it on and I'm like, I don't know. And but then they had like another type of cropped t-shirt, and I actually really liked that one. I didn't get it that time because it was black. I saw other My Chemical Romance ones. They're not the only bands that I listen to, but um they were in a style that I really liked. And I saw other band t-shirts too that I was thinking about, but um I really love the My Chemical Romance one that I bought the other day, and then I was thinking about the Bring Me the Horizon one that was like cropped because although I really love the look of it, it was like another black cropped t-shirt. And I'm like, I feel like I would wear it, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe I'll think about it because I just got a black t-shirt. So, I'll see how the wardrobe is with it because I feel like I'm kind of adding like staples to the wardrobe right now. And the jeans, I was super happy with it because I tried on one and I didn't really I didn't really have to go too deep to think about like what size, like, because last time, well, I have shorts, and I was thinking about like, I think I got like that size, around that size, and they had it, and the pants got like, um, the reviews were actually good because I looked at it afterwards, and the only thing is like, and it's not surprising, this is for pants across the board with me, that they're long. So they're about like this much longer. So I'm definitely stepping all over the pants, but I'm used to it. And it kind of adds to the look. It's just like that was part of it. So I'm really, really happy with it. I love the fit. And because sometimes when you associate like, well, you associate like a little bit of like stiffness or like discomfort with jeans because like you don't have as much mobility. And again, for a while, as pants, like, they sold pants, and I just wasn't into a lot of this, what I was getting. And then I'll be sewing more. I had no intentions of sewing jeans because jeans are one of those like really hard wearing type of clothing, and um, maybe down the line, but I definitely was not seeing that for me. So, or not wanting it, to be honest, but I'm mega happy with how it's fitting, and I feel like it'd be cool with maybe some tank tops because I like the fit of it, and then with the tank top, and then even some of the like the crop shirts. I say that they're cropped, but honestly, again, because of my height, it's not like super cropped. Like when I crop a sweater, usually I can get away with a lot of like cropping it pretty significantly because um, I don't necessarily need a ton of length. So, I think it sits well when I get those styles. Um, and I just remember it just brings back memories. So those were like the main things, and then I'm kind of just adding stuff to the wish list on it, and then when the time comes, maybe I'll get it here and there. But I mainly wanted to get the tank top. I'm sorry, it's like 9 minutes in, but I mainly wanted to get the tank top because I wear a lot of tank tops. They're like super comfy. There's this one from high school, or it might be even earlier than that, to be honest. And it's like a Volcom tank top, and I wear that nonstop. It's like throughout the year, but mainly in the warm weather because I could pair it with shorts, and it's a tank top. So, um, And I was also thinking about some of the hoodies, the zipper ones, but I was also thinking it's gonna get significantly warmer, so maybe not. But maybe they could have a giant sale on it. But I also knit a lot, so oh, now I'm focusing on knitting the tarot bag because the Hudson Tarot is still a state away. It's been in that state for a little bit, but I'm hoping it'll get here by maybe Monday, just in case. I don't foresee it being something that I would have to sign for because I've never had to sign for like a Ukrainian package, but um, I like to stick around just in case. But I pulled out some of the cards, or I pulled out the cards. It's an interesting reading. Um, a lot of cups here. Because in the beginning, you had the present as the Nine of Cups. And that kind of has like a feeling of like euphoria. And a lot of times when we're in this state, it's like, why would you want to escape that state of mind or like position that you're in? Or you're on a roll. And it kind of reminds me of gambling too. I don't know a lot about gambling, but it's like I feel like when you're on a good streak, that's what I heard, you just want to keep going with it because like maybe it's like something that's a good thing that's happening. And you have like the Nine of Cups right now, but something just feels like there's the Ace of Cups is in the obstacle position. And with those two, because there's already um good things that are happening, it was funny because the last reading I was talking about like in movies when the person gets like their dreams come true, they do this, that, and the third. Um and sometimes it there's a tendency of not really seeing or even believing what was in the past because maybe the past did have a story to tell and still is there to try to bring things back into reality because there could be like a forgetfulness or like an indulgence that you get from the Nine of Cups that is something that, because it's like a festival card, at least in this deck. And when you think about festivals, it's not something that is happening constantly. It's something that is more of like a special occasion type of thing. The Ace of Cups, it really feels like we're trying to fill a cup, but we're not trying to overfill it. There is like a satisfaction mark that you get, or like when you're filling up a gas tank and it stops you at a certain point, like you can't fill it up I mean, I don't know if you can fill it up anymore, but it like halts it like once you fill up your tank. Um, it's almost like just enough because like my friend was actually calling and she was like she was getting on me because we would drive and it was always like when I was driving, um, I was just like I wasn't risking lives or anything. I'm a good driver, I would say. Um, and I've been told I was a good driver. And but my tank, like I rarely filled it up unless I really needed to. This time around, I'm using my parents' car because my car is literally like at 98,000 miles and I didn't want to get over 100,000. That's why I feel like although like things just seem so up in the air right now, it just feels like it's so um like naturally flowing because I was just like, well, I don't want to sell it and then like it really revamps the value. It's already like revamping because I I just drove it across the country, but because of the amount of miles that you put on it, And so it's just like just barely under 99,000. And so I got like fortunate enough to where I didn't need to drive my car right now. Um, so that's why I feel like am still pretty my soul is settled for stuff that goes on in the future. If this happens, then I could do this. If this and if another thing happens, or if it goes like a little more smoothly, but it takes time, then it takes time. But I feel like pretty calm and chill about it. For some reason, it just feels like super chill to me. Even if some people are just like, I don't think they are worried, but they're like putting like the what ifs. I'm like, well, when things happen, then we just try to dance with it and we go with whatever flow, like go with the where the wind takes us, and hopefully it gives us something. Um, Sometimes it's not always something that we look forward to, but usually it's something that we need to fulfill maybe certain destinies, if you believe in destinies, or fulfill certain things in life. So, but anyway, she was getting on me because she's like, girl, like you never filled your tank. There was this one time we were driving into DC because we used to like um just want to get like because when you got the pizzas there, like the pizza slices, it wasn't just like a small pizza slice. It was obnoxiously like one of those large pizza slices that it was just like the thing to do. And of course, like if you hear about my milk allergy, I do pretty well with pizza. It's mainly like heavy cream in pasta that offsets hives in me, but in case I don't think maybe no one was wondering, but um one time we were driving into DC and there was always some type of construction going on. And very strict about like certain times, and like it was just such a slow process with construction anywhere in the DMV. And for some reason the GPS said, I've never had this happen, hour delay. And she's like, girl, look at the map. And I'm like, whoa. And I was kind of like, well, it's a good thing this time I got gas, because some people were pulling over like to the side because they didn't want to waste their gas. Um, but this time around, since I'm not using my own car, and I mean, I knew my old car. I did like push it a little bit, but I am super appreciative that my car um went through my shenanigans, and I try not to do it all the time. But sometimes, like, at least with me, it could work with other people, but for me, I'm not the person to get gas like the when before getting into work. Like I get the gas like the night before, because if I don't do that, I'm usually just booking it out the door trying to get to my job. So, um, because my parents' car, I don't know, I know like the generality of like driving it, but in terms of like what it can handle when you're um doing those things, I don't risk it, and they only put premium in the car, so that's what I've been doing. Um, there's just like a just right, and I feel like for some reason there is that type of preparation that comes in, like that maybe you didn't need as much, or you don't need as much. And I don't think it's like thinking that you do need more, but it's almost like that cutoff point, and it doesn't seem like it's a forever thing, because I feel like this is an extra card. There's stuff to look forward to. Because you have the star here. Star is Aquarius, um, associated with Aquarius. So you have the water bear, and technically it's an air sign, but you have water in there too. So there's like that level of discernment going on. And again, with that level of like, there's like such an ease with going on. And for some reason, I was getting like personality. Like, there's just such an ease of knowing. You even have the High Priestess as the overall energy for the reading, so th there is that one. And with that, well, how to overcome the obstacle is the Ten of Swords. So that does seem like temporarily, and it's the Ten of Swords is something that really cuts things, and it like almost cuts things, almost extracts things, and um dissecting, and I feel like it is associated with the Nine of Cups. And those are both like towards the end of the cycles, and they're both major arcana. I'm sorry, both minor arcana. The High Priestess and the Star. There's the Moon, major arcana. Wheel of Fortune, major arcana. The rest are minor arcana. I mean, it's a good combination of cards for sure because it doesn't seem like it's necessarily a bad thing. And for like, honestly, the words that I'm getting right now are like the new order of things. Um, you have the Five of Wands. Not exactly a smooth sailing type of beginning, if I'm being honest. And it looks like when you take a couple steps forward, you take a couple steps back. It's interesting because I was talking about like gambles with the Wheel of Fortune, and there is an aspect of maybe something or somebody just like that really delves deeply into those not landmines, oh my God. Um, Not landfills. You know those places that have like gold mines. I don't know why it took me so long. Um, because there was this one comic type of video that I was watching because like it did like story retellings based off of certain comics, and there's this one. I mean, I guess the whole story is not like super to what I'm saying, but there was a person that it was the wife, and they were in charge of like land, and she was talking about because a lot of these types of stories that like I was like watching um had to do with waking up in a storybook type of thing, or um past lives and redoing, and not like I'm going into that here, but this person already knew what was going on. And basically, she was like, well, I already know this from what happened, or like what I read about, something like that. And she's like, these are places where there is a lot of wealth there. And at first, the people that went there, like the land that worked for them, they went there the first time and they're like, look, there's nothing here. And she's like, no, there is definitely something here. And there was something so adamant, like with the high priestess. And it was like, you just got to keep going, dude. Like, it's there. Like, trust me. And it was there because she already knew that part of the story. So there is just something like, for some reason, like of an obvious telling. And I was also getting obvious retelling of the story. It just feels like cycles are like circling in and out, and it's a way for us to get for things to be done in a different way. Um, some could call it a way to rewrite history. Um, it does seem like time consuming, and there does seem like irritation. The Five of Wands is a card of like training, or even like a halting energy, like you have to do a couple things before you get to the next level, or maybe a couple tries before you can move forward because, like with video games, it's kind of like that. The future is the Seven of Pentacles. So if this is talking about money, it's slow coming and it's not something that comes up right away. It's like you plant something and it's tending to those crops and seeing how it would grow. And it's also thinking about who could help you or who knows how to tend those crops. And if you feel like you can or you're able to do it, um, it wouldn't hurt to do some research and to do some testing for it because um, I feel like it's more than surface level. And when we think about the Seven of Pentacles, it isn't necessarily surface level because although it's more of like of a earthy type of that type of tangible card, and you could think of like manifestation on it too. I don't really use that word, but um, you don't really know what the progress is or like how things are going until maybe you're testing even the soil or you're really paying attention to the certain details that you see that the plants give off. But a lot of it is underground. There just seems like there's something more to it, and I was also getting something that's more secretive than what meets the eye. Like maybe the universe holds more secrets than we know. And usually that's what happens. I have said this because sometimes, like, when things happen, um, maybe the guides are like, we're not told why certain things happen because if we knew why how things would go on, um we wouldn't agree to it. And I'm not saying that for everything, but it's just maybe something to think about. I feel like it also um it would be a good time, even if it does feel like a little bit of downtime and slower progress, that it'll be nice to hone into some skills. The Five of Wands, I feel, can reflect off of the Seven of Pentacles, of that maybe that frustration that you get from not doing it the first time around. It kind of reminds me of like taking care of plants. And maybe because taking care of plants is like a full on responsibility, I would say. Some might disagree if you've been doing it or if you enjoy taking care of plants, but I would like to have some, but again, I like move and then there's me that I kill indoor plants, I somehow kill outdoor plants, and um you just let them be themselves and be free and do their own thing. There is something that you can't really force in nature. And I feel like that's one of the lessons that comes from the Five of Wands. That if it keeps getting forced in a certain way, there just might be enough irritation to blow it over. Because you already have the moon energy here. And the moon energy, it does amp things up because it's a card where I feel like it really, a lot of it links to this Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is minor arcana. Um, Also linking to Pisces energy. So you have more water. You have actually a ton of water here. And there might be the disbelief because there's the Seven of Cups that's in the past position. And again with the redos, sorry, it makes me feel like oh, there are certain things in life that can be redone or can be like stories that can be retold. But there is that type of execution that comes along. That sounds like not like in a bad way, but like the way that we do things and how we progress. Um, it definitely teeters back and forth. Like the Wheel of Fortune is not a card where it in a way it kind of lacks consistency. Like things are always changing, and you see that there are like different monuments, like places in Ukraine, and there's history there, but there's also progression that happens throughout history. And even when things circle back, it's not the same. And the people that were in that time, maybe they're not there anymore, or maybe like they might be seeing things and seeing how it's interpreted by another, kind of like the fashion that's coming up again. And it's a little um not too serious, but the vision is there. You could see what the differences are, but you could also have like, okay, so this is how it's being viewed as, or certain elements that are coming back to it. Um, but it's fun in that way. I don't see that in every way, especially in this reading, but there's something that grounds the type of mentality that we have. And we kind of try to see the silver lining with that Ten of Swords, because the Ten of Swords is also coming up with solutions or decisions. It puts things kind of to a close for now, because again, there's always cycles that go in and out, and things are constantly changing. I feel that, especially with the New World Order type of thing, um, it restructures a lot of stuff. Like when we had the plague back in like 2019, a lot of things have changed and have changed like pretty drastically. But for this time around, especially for how inconsistent it is, it just seems like we're trying different avenues. The Seven of Pentacles. I'm not. I'm definitely seeing that there is going to be good things. Like it's a card of fortune in a way, or pre-fortune, um, as if we write off that card to what do you do? Like I don't know if this is something that you do in other countries, but to see if you win like thousands or millions or like maybe hundreds or less than that on like you go to the convenience store and you fill those things out and then you see if you won or not. I feel like there will be a good amount of earning from this. But I feel like it's also knowing that um, this isn't the plague, but I don't know if it's considered like another world war type of situation. I've heard some people like referring to it, at least in this part of the world, but I'm not sure like how it really is referred to in that area necessarily because I'm not there. So I don't want to say this or that about it, but um, the level of perception and the things that have gone on, it really does look like something just like slices through the air. And getting that with the sword, it's enough to maybe cause a silence or cause a reaction. It's the Ten of Swords, and the swords, like, that's one of the things, like, it's one of the aspects of it. It slices um, something that is verbalized, something that we think about that propels things forward. There's this one story that I wasn't sure if I was going to even mention. I'm going to pull out a couple more cards before ending the reading. These are really nice cards, actually. Um, I was actually trying not to hopefully say that too soon, but they were, I didn't. So, like back in the day, I've had some pretty, I feel like as I move forward in life and um, go really into the types of things that I'm interested in terms of like career, it has been more geared towards who I am and like how it's compatible with my personality. But in the past, there were jobs to get you by. And even now, you could, I mean, I don't know, I'm not doing anything right now, but um, I have waitressed a lot. And there is this one time that I was a waitress, and of course, you work in diners, like it's the East Coast, it's pretty known for those things. And I feel like those are like kind of like the things that I really, um, I don't know if it would be as far as like to cherish because I love diners. And you would like diner hop. You go from this diner to the next diner to the next diner, and it would just be kind of like fun. And so I did work with somebody, and we ended up like working at another place, and she was going out with this guy, and her family, like I would hear about like stories about her family, wouldn't even want him near them. And at first I was like, I don't know what's like happening, but I didn't want to say anything. And then like, um, I'd be that type of person. So I like tried to help because I was like one of the people with a car. So at the time they didn't have a car, and I would help them get to places. And one time they were with me, and like he wanted to go somewhere, and I'm like, well, as long as it's not to get drugs. And I can't say for sure if it was because it didn't happen, but we went into like not a good place at all. And at the very last second, we get pulled over because he takes a turn into a one way. And there are like three cops, like automatically like up our ass. And I wasn't even driving. And but it was my car. And so he was driving without a license because I wasn't gonna drive there. And so like I just remember, and I was like glaring at him, and then there was this one cop that like kept like being all up on me, and I like she glared at me and I glared at her back. I mean, I got a ticket because I was letting him drive, and I was just like, dude, like what the fuck? Why am I getting a ticket though? Um, but at the same time, I'm like, ugh, well, whatever. And so it was just like those types of things. And I forget this one time, I guess, because they were staying in a hotel and they didn't have a car at the time. And he was in the car and I had money in the car. And I was saving that at the time I was like getting a tattoo at some point. And I remember like I checked the glove compartment and there was a lot missing from that. And so she like automatically was like, I'm gonna give you all the money that you lost and stuff. And I mean, I couldn't say for sure what happened, but based off of her impression, like she kind of had an idea of where the money went. And like it kind of just like went downhill from there. I mean, it was nothing against her, but at the same time, I'm just like, I just can't. Um, so eventually we just like went our separate ways and because I wasn't even like that close necessarily, like um and then because it was like the like I was friends with her, but it was like also the kind of not the beginning stages, like I knew her for a little bit, but not like too well. And so there's something that was just like I gotta um just stop it because I think maybe there's like divine guidance on there or like divine intervention where we got pulled over just like right before like he was about to do what he was about to do. And if we got pulled over after that and there was stuff like in the car, then it would have been a lot worse. And I can't say for sure what that was, but I felt like kind of bad, but I was also like um I just couldn't. And eventually she I knew that she like left him because for some reason he texted me and he's like she left me, like not in like trying to do anything with me but just like in general being like what do I do now? And I'm like I didn't even say anything because I'm like um I wasn't trying to be rude or anything, but at the same time I'm like because it wasn't the only things that happened. There was just like time after time after time where there was just something that was coming up and I was thinking like I can't keep um going through this because there I don't want to have it be like put in a position where it would be super detrimental to me. And I felt a little selfish at the time. But deep down I was like I can't I don't want to be getting like screwed over in a way. Um so it was just like those types of things. And and then like his friends were already well that I guess the one friend was like into drugs and then it was pretty wild the lengths that this person would go to get it. And so I just like could not. Like I wasn't into it and I just feel like there was just like a lot of guidance or like in a way like angel on my shoulder type of thing where almost like at the nick of time it was fine but they were like you gotta get out of here. Like I feel like there was an like someone talking through somebody being like saying about working with them being like you should leave here before things like escalate because they were like nervous and like throughout the years it was interesting because like there's specific times where people were saying like don't change and and it was like interesting, sorry I keep saying like it was interesting for sure And like I said, there was more things that I could list of how I'm just like, bro, like, can you stop like fucking up my life? Because I'm not even that much associated with you guys. I'm basically helping you get to this location or that location or whatever. Like I'm barely um even there in that way. And when we went to court, he was like, "Yeah, I'll like speak up for you, like just um I'll go with you." And then he wakes up late and then we miss court and then on my way to drive there, I get pulled over because I have a warrant out and I am uh handcuffed to a bench in the police station for like half of my shift that I should have been at because I was supposed to be at work. That was where I was going. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I mean, the cops thought I was cool. It was like the girl cop and the guy cop and the girl, she was like chill with me. And I'm like, okay, because they had to look through my bag and like they warned me and she's like, oh my God, you do tarot readings? I'm like, at the time I wasn't like reading for people, but I mean, I was reading, so um, I had like food in my bag too. I'm like, you guys can have that. I don't care. Um, I was just because like I was at the station because I need to reschedule, but that place that like where the court was at because um they're like heavily congested when you go to court. And that time I went to court by myself. And so it was again, I feel like kind of angel on my shoulder type of thing because the person that I had to talk to before I was getting into court on like what happened, and the person's like, you need to get better friends. And then I went up to the court, or I went up to the court. I went up to the judge, and at first the judge like was just like, okay, just pay the fee to leave. And then she stopped me and she's like, don't even pay the fee, just get out of here. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And so it just feels like that. And I feel like one of the things that is important, and I'm not trying to like be preaching or anything, that I try to like do good in a way. Like I don't try to like I know like sometimes like I talk shit, but I feel that if something happens, sometimes I say stuff, but overall like I try to not screw people over. Especially if I was like cool with them or they were good to me and I'm like, okay, well, um I don't want to do that to this person, which is why another reason why like I didn't feel so terrible when I cut ties necessarily, and I felt bad because um she was cool for the I didn't have any issues with her. Um it was like her boyfriend at the time. If he was there, it was just something would happen and I didn't want like the towers to fall in that way where other stuff would just like it would just be there would be like no going back if something else happened. So, the final cards that I pulled, this is like a pretty solid reading. I feel like there's stuff to look forward to. There might be a little bit of picking at the pieces because you have the Knight of Cups here. Knight of Cups can link to I'd say it links to Pisces right now. And you have Pisces here. You also have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles you can associate with Taurus. Then you have the Nine of Pentacles and Temperance. So Temperance with the Knight of Cups, but I have the Nine of Pentacles here too. And it really does feel like a silver lining thing too. And with the I'm sorry, since I was going to say Nine of Pentacles, with the Temperance is also associated with Sagittarius. Again, you don't have to read signs, I'm just saying the signs. So you can maybe get a grasp on the type of the archetype that is there. Um, and it is like how we react when things can be up in the air or things are haywire. Sagittarius is like a zodiac sign that you can associate it with war too. So, how we react when things just seem like it's a war zone or literally is a war zone. Because Temperance is surprisingly one of those calming cards. Like you just see it, and that's what it is. And it also reminds me of like the Holy Spirit when I was doing the channeled messages. I still do channeled messages, but it was like a lot more in the beginning, and it started to come back. Like the grandparents figures started to come back like recently, and they were like more adamant, and it just seemed like it was just more to it. And I don't know if there was just maybe it's like the time because well, it started mainly last the end, well, the end of December, but then towards the beginning of February, end of January, when these readings started to pick up that type of timeline. And then I had a lot of channeled readings. So Temperance is almost like it feels like if you could just hold off or fend off, or there's something just saying to do this for a little bit longer. Because, I mean, even if it lasts longer than what you're expecting, or not more than a little bit longer, there just seems to be some type of energy that just says, um, keep to just keep going. And the Nine of Pentacles, if I feel goes with that because there is that type of qualification or thing that, or things that this person or people can do that there is like an awareness there, and then there is the things that they know, especially if you're going through something and there is another energy of another person or thing that doesn't really know completely. Um, so while they're trying to do whatever they're trying to do, you could also pick up those areas and really try to adjust or as also getting recreate certain things and make things as if you're doing it correctly. This feels like a pacing card. There could be other things on the mind too. It is the Knight of Cups. It is like a card that can be associated with like dreamer energy because they're the lovers who you can't really go that much around it, whether it's for a person or a country or a type of thing or cause that you're really striving for. It just seems like there is an energy of wanting to do things the right way. And I feel like with the Nine of Pentacles, it's a card or an archetype that you can count on to do things the right way, as well as, I mean, it's great, really great that these two came out together because this is the court card. Knight of Cups is a court card too. And these cards just seem like they're energies that follow through, especially Pentacle energy, which is great for the future because if you're not certain about the Seven of Pentacles, as I said, because it's hard to really see it, especially in the beginning stages, with these types of energies, like it's almost like a guarantee that things, like there are things that go on ahead. Again, some inconsistencies with the Five of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune, but overall, it they're energies that definitely follow through because the Queen of Pentacles can be like a breadwinner type of archetype, and the Nine of Pentacles is in the senior or superior position that they're in because of their criteria. It's not something that like they just like. I mean, they could know a person who knows a person who knows a person, but overall, it's an energy or energies that have been doing this for a long time. Um, can I say whether it's compatible or not? But I feel like with the Nine of Cups, there is like an endearing energy towards something or someone. So there is a little bit of not so much randomness because you always have you might be fighting um a war, but you might be finding love too, or like you found love or something. So the Knight of Cups doesn't really lose focus on that. I feel like it never, or this person never really takes away from that focus, even if they are doing other things. So that could be that motivation too with the Knight of Cups. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.